great day. It's been so interesting. This has been a really, really cool conference, and I'm so happy to be here. So thank you for inviting me to speak at this event, and thank you for bringing me to Sri Lanka for the first time. I've never been here before, and I've only been here a little less than 36 hours, and I do have 3 things that I've noticed. First of all, you guys really love Christmas, don't you? Man, there's Christmas music and Christmas decorations everywhere. I think it's pretty cool. Secondly, the traffic. Holy crap. I mean, I'm impressed that so many people came to this conference, but I'm even more impressed that so many people made it here alive. And finally, I just want to say that I took a walk around the city yesterday, and here's what I noticed. When you smile at people on the street, they smile right back. And I just love that in a city. So I feel right at home, and it's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And I'm going to talk about happiness at work, which may seem like kind of a weird, strange topic, but one I think is really, really important. Now, before I do that, I always like to get to know my audience a little bit. I'd like to know a few things about you. So, let's see. Raise your hand if you work in a company with, let's say, more than 100 people. More than 100 people? Yes. Less than 100 people? Yeah, very good. More than 500 people? Oh, still a few. Very good. Raise your hand if you're a developer. Yeah. Raise your hand if you're in another role, like a project manager, scrum master, or whatever. Yeah. A few. They're all at the table up here. That's good. And finally, raise your hand if you think that it's important not just to have a job, but to have a job you like. Yes, excellent. I could not agree more. I used to be a developer myself. I was in IT for around 10 years. And the reason why I went into IT was that I loved coding. When I was 13 years old, for my birthday present, I got a home computer. And I made little programs in BASIC, and I just loved that. So, of course, I had to go to university and study software development. One of my classmates from university sent me this picture recently. This is me coding on a Sun Spark Station 68020 back in, I'm guessing this is 1991 or something like that. Yeah, this is clearly a young man with a bright future in IT and no girlfriend. That changed. So I graduated in 1994. I worked as a software developer for a number of years. And then in 1997, it came time to co-found my own software consulting company. I got together with 2 friends, and we started our own company. It was called Enterprise Systems. And we did big, complicated software solutions for major clients in Denmark. For instance, every single child born in the Copenhagen region is registered in a system that we created. And when we created this company, our number one goal was not to make it big or make it profitable or make it successful. Our number one goal was to make it happy. We wanted to create an IT company where people loved to work, and we absolutely succeeded. This is from every year we did a skiing trip. Everybody went to the Alps for 4 days to do some future planning and strategizing and, of course, skiing. Here's me in this picture. So we made that company really successful and very happy. And in 2002, we sold it. And at that point, I stopped. I gave myself some time off. I quit. And I gave myself some time off to think, what is my mission in life? What is my true passion? What do I want to contribute to the world? And I realized that my true passion, IT is awesome. Don't mistake me, but my true passion in life is happiness at work. So in 2003, I founded my current company, which is called Woohoo! And I want to make it perfectly clear that it's spelled woohoo, but it's pronounced woohoo. Yeah. Every time somebody calls us on the phone, it's pretty awesome. Woohoo! It's Alex. And we make people happy at work, okay? We do speeches, workshops, management trainings for clients around the world to teach them how to be happy workplaces. I also I've written 4 books about happiness at work so far. This is the first one. It's out in 10 different languages called Happy Hour is 9 to 5. And I just started work on my 5th book, which is about leading with happiness. These are some of our clients around the world that we work with. One of our really good clients is Lego. They're amazing, great company to work for, Danish company. And we've done this in 34 different countries so far. And this is my first time in Sri Lanka to speak. So now it's 35. Yeah. It's amazing. I'm really happy to add Sri Lanka to the list. Yeah, we've done this in a lot of different countries. This is a picture from my first trip to India. I did a couple of workshops for the managers at Tata, and he was one of them. I just want to say he was happy before I got there, okay? So that's what we do. We focus on happiness at work, on creating happy workplaces. That's what we do with our clients, help them to become workplaces where people actually like to work, okay? And there is a problem here because many, many people are unhappy at work. We did a study recently where we asked people about their bad days at work. And one of the questions we asked was, how often do you have a bad day at work, like a really bad day where you just hate it there and you just can't wait to go home? And 19%, this is a big international survey, we have respondents from every continent except Antarctica. I was hoping for just one South Pole researcher to take the survey, but they didn't. So anyway, 19% of respondents said, I have a bad day at work every day or almost every day. 1 out of 5 hate their job almost every day. If you add up all the people who have at least one bad work day a week, that's 2 out of 3. 2/3 of all the people, 700 people in our survey all over the world say, I have at least one bad work day every single week. And I think that's terrible. I think that is something that needs to change. Way too many people hate their jobs. In fact, there are some studies that indicate that in IT, it might be even worse. When you compare unhappiness in different professions, one of the fields that's really unhappy is IT. And I think that's a real shame because IT workplaces should be really happy. We get to work with cool technologies. We get to create cool solutions for our clients. We get to work with interesting problems and find solutions to them. IT workplaces should be really happy, but the sad truth is that very, very often they're not. And I hope that I can, in this speech, that I can give you some knowledge based on the latest research and some tools that you can use to make your workplaces even happier here in Sri Lanka. And I just want to make a point that anyone can be happy at work, okay? Very often people sort of think that, a lot of people think it's impossible to be happy at work. A lot of people think that, it's more normal to hate your job. I did a speech in the US and a young man came up and said, well, of course I hate my job. That's why I get paid. Yeah. No, anyone can be happy at work, and I'd like to prove that with a video. So I'm going to show you a 25-second video from a ladies' bathroom. Yes, this is from an airport in the US, and what you're going to see here is a lady called Valerie who cleans the bathrooms in this airport. I hope we have sound. We do have sound.
No line, no waiting. Gotta go right now. Hey, how are you? Welcome to Valerie's Happy Restaurant. Come on in. Hey, girl, I'm trying to make everybody feel good. It's a good day. Sunshine on the outside, sunshine on the inside. No waiting, no line, no waiting.
How great is that, right? She cleans bathrooms, and she's really happy at work. She loves her job, and she makes a lot of other people happy when they come into this bathroom. Now, I've been using this video in my speeches for years. And then 6 months ago, I'm doing a speech for a group of Americans, and I show this video. And suddenly, there's a lady who puts up her hand and says, I've been to that bathroom. I've met Valerie. She was like that. It's just amazing. By the way, she also told me that Valerie has a motto. Her motto is, don't worry, be happy. I know. So anyone can be happy at work. And more than that, I believe that everybody should be happy at work. Everybody should have a job, have work they enjoy, because it has such a large influence on how we feel at work, yes, but also at home. The big question here, though, is what is it that makes us happy at work? If you want to have a job you enjoy, what does it take? And a lot of people have the completely wrong idea. A lot of people think it's about the salary. If I get a raise, then I will be happy. They're usually wrong. A lot of people think it's about the perks. If we have an office with a foosball table and ping pong and, a pool table and all that, then I'll be happy. They're usually wrong. A lot of people think that maybe it's, a promotion. If I become a senior consultant, then I'll be happy. Turns out, usually, they're wrong. What is it that makes us happy at work? We have looked extensively at the science and the research that is out there, and we found 2 major factors that make us happy at work. So let's look at those. Because we need to know this. If we don't know what makes us happy at work, we will chase all the wrong things, and we will forever be miserable in our careers. What makes us happy at work? First of all, results. And what I mean by that is this feeling that you are really good at your job. You make a difference. You can create great software for the client, for the company. You can use your knowledge. You're the expert in your field. You can achieve your deadlines, your milestones. You can do a really good job. You kick ass. That feeling of being good at what you do gives us a feeling of pride that is a major, major source of happiness at work. This is an absolute requirement. I don't see how it's possible to be happy in a job that you're not very good at. Okay? You don't have to be the best in the world. There's only one person who can be the best in the world at one time. But you have to have this feeling that, I am good at what I do, I contribute, I create value, I am needed. And more than that, more than just creating results, more than just achieving your milestones and deadlines, what really makes us happy is when we get meaningful results. When you can see that your work helps somebody who really needs it. I often think of nurses. Nurses in a hospital, right? They have many results that they create, but what really makes a nurse happy at work, typically, is when they can see that the patients get better. Their work makes a difference for someone who needs it. Think of a teacher. A teacher in a school, they have many measurable results. You have to teach a certain number of classes. You have to teach a certain amount of material. But what really makes a teacher happy, usually, is to see that the kids are happy in school, they're learning cool things, and they're getting good grades. Those are meaningful results when your work makes a difference for someone else. And this is something we can focus a lot on when creating software. That it's not just about the lines of code. It's actually about creating software solutions that makes a difference for someone who needs it, that actually solves a problem for somebody out there, for some client or user or whatever. And this is what makes us really happy. And I can remember from my time coding, finding the elegant solution to a problem, the simple solution, feels amazing, feels really good. But what feels even better is seeing that this solution then works for the client and makes their life easier, better, more efficient, happier. This feeling of results is incredibly important. You can try and think of a time where you did something really awesome at work. And think back to that situation and try to remember how you felt in that situation. And most people feel pride. They feel like, I'm good at what I do. It feels really good. It makes us really happy. How do we give people this feeling of results? I have an example. Please stand up. Yes, stand up. Stand up. It's late in the day. I'll have to keep you awake. We're going to do a little exercise. Now, in my opinion, the best way to show people that they get results is to give people praise and recognition in the workplace. Okay? If people do good work, tell them. And unfortunately, in many workplaces, we don't. Are people in Sri Lanka good at giving praise and recognition, positive feedback? Yes, one person nodding, some people shaking their heads no. Well, we're going to try it. We're going to try it. And there are many ways you can praise other people at work. Imagine that one of your coworkers has done a really good job on something. What can you do? Well, you can just go up and tell them, hey, that function you created yesterday, oh my God, what an elegant solution. Perfect. Solve the problem in half the lines of code that compared to before. Excellent work. Okay? Another good way to praise people is by email. Send them an email telling them what they did well. And I like that because then whoever gets the email can save it. Do you do that? Yeah, I do it myself. I have a folder in Gmail called feedback. And every time I get an email that says I'm awesome, I save that email. And then one day when I'm not feeling awesome, I can open that folder and go, oh my God, I'm awesome. You can praise people in meetings. If you have a project meeting or a stand-up meeting or whatever, you can say, hey, everybody, let me tell you what John did yesterday. He had this problem. He found this solution. It was great work. But what we're going to try now is my favorite way to praise someone else, and it's very, very simple. You go up to them, you put up your hand, and you give them a high five. Yes! And that was an excellent high five because a good high five should sting a little. It shouldn't hurt, but you should feel it, okay? So let's try that. Give 3 other people a high five. Go! Yeah, very good. Now, awesome. That's when somebody does a good job. If somebody does a great job, you can take it one step further. Then what you do is this. Like before, you give them a high five, not a slap. That's down here. You give them a high five, then you put up your thumbs and you go, you rock. Yes. Try that with 3 other people. High five, you rock. Awesome. Thank you. Have a seat. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Yeah, give yourselves a hand. So, just one very important point here. If you're feeling like this, high five, you rock, is just too much, you hate it, then I perfectly understand, okay? It's not for everybody. I'm not saying we should all high five each other. What I am saying is that praise and recognition, positive feedback at work is really important and also very, very rare. In many workplaces, if you do something good, if you do a really good job, nobody says anything. But if you make one mistake, you will hear about it forever, okay? And I think we need to change that. If somebody does a good job, tell them. Do it in your own way, okay? Find a way that fits your personality, but do tell people that they do a good job. Could you become the kind of person who is really good at seeing the good in other people and telling them about it? And if you could be that person, you can create a lot of happiness around you in the workplace, in your family, with your friends, wherever you are. I just want to say one thing, and that is that you should never praise people just to praise them. The praise has to be genuine, and it has to be meaningful. You can't say, oh my God, you came to work today. You rock! That kind of shallow, fake praise has the complete opposite effect, okay? It has to be meaningful, it has to be genuine. But if you can do that, you can create a lot of happiness for yourself and for others. So praise and recognition is the most powerful tool I know to give people this feeling of results, this feeling that I'm good at what I do, I make a difference. As I said, there are 2 main things that make us happy at work. Results is one. The other is equally important, and we call it relationships. And what I mean by that is, for instance, a good relationship with your coworkers. So the people on your team, the people on your projects, the people you work with, that you have a good relationship with them. I'm not saying we have to be best friends with them, but just this feeling that, you know what, these people like me, I like them, they see me, they respect me, they want me here. This feeling that I belong, this feeling of good relationships is incredibly important for our happiness at work. So a good relationship with your coworkers is really important. And also the most important relationship you have at work is the relationship with the boss. The relationship with the boss. And again, I'm not saying you have to be best friends with your manager, but just this feeling that, again, you have a good relationship with the manager. Your manager sees you, respects you, appreciates you for your skills and your personality. This is incredibly important. You can also have relationships with clients, with people from different teams, with vendors, with suppliers, with partners, with everybody. But the most important relationships we have at work are with the people we see every day, and those are the coworkers and the manager, the boss. How important are these relationships? The scariest study I have ever seen in this field was a Swedish study that looked at workload and stress, when you're very busy at work. How many of you are sometimes busy at work? Yes, everybody. And stress is increasingly becoming a problem in many workplaces. And a lot of people think that, if I'm busy, then I will become stressed. And it turns out that it's not that simple. And this Swedish study, scariest study I've ever seen, found that if you have a high workload, so you're very busy, but you have great social support in the workplace, great relationships, then people had no higher risk of becoming stressed. But if you have a high workload and low social support, bad relationships in the workplace, then people had a much higher risk of becoming stressed and a much higher risk of dying. Over a 20-year period, these people with high workloads and low social support had a much higher mortality rate from diseases like heart disease and strokes. So we can withstand much more busyness. We're much more resilient when we have good relationships, when we feel like we belong, when we feel liked, cared for in the workplace. How do we create these good relationships? I think we do that every single day. We do that when we work together. We do it in meetings. We do it, when we pass a coworker in the hallways, do we say a smile and say hello? We do it in coffee breaks and lunch breaks. We do it at team events and team buildings. We do it by helping each other, by being nice people in the workplace. We create those relationships every single day, and they are incredibly, incredibly important. What's the best way to create these relationships? Stand up. Yes, stand up. Here's another stupid little exercise. It's okay to hate it. It'll be over really quickly. The best way I know to create good relationships at work is incredibly simple. It's to say good morning when you come to work in the morning. Are people good at saying good morning in the morning here? Excellent. Then this is the perfect exercise for you guys. And of course, there are many ways you can say good morning at work, right? Let's imagine that you came in early. So you came into the office before everybody else. You're already at your desk. You're on your computer. You're on the keyboard. You're doing something really important. You're completely focused. Then one of your coworkers comes into work, walks by and goes, "Good morning." And without looking up, you just say, "Meh." Yeah. Let's try that. Without looking at anyone, say, "Meh." Meh. Yeah. That's not very good. That's what we call a level 1 good morning. Let's go to level 2. On level 2, you actually do say good morning, but you still don't look at anyone. So say good morning to the people at your table without looking at them. Morning. And that is not very happy either, okay? So let's take it to level 3. And on level 3, you must look at the person you say good morning to. And it's not enough to look at them. You must briefly make eye contact before you say good morning, okay? You don't have to do this. So, make eye contact and say good morning to the other people at your table. Go. Yes. Now we're talking. When you make eye contact, you make contact. It's the two of us saying good morning. We're creating a little bit of a relationship. You can also go to level 4. And on level 4, it's not enough to just say good morning. You have to add something extra. Good morning. It's great to see you. Good morning. Love your shirt. Very cool. Good morning. How are you this morning? Or whatever you can come up with. Just say something more than just good morning. Okay? So let's try that. On level 4, make eye contact. Say something more than just good morning. And say good morning to 3 people from another table. Go. Yes. Excellent. Very good. And remain, stay where you are. Final level, level 5. The level 5 good morning, the group hug. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That would be too much. Okay? No. On level 5, you must also touch the person you say good morning to. And I'm thinking something that would be okay in the workplace. Okay? I'm thinking like maybe a handshake, clap on the shoulder, a high five. You can hug, but only if you really want to, okay? So on level 5, make eye contact, touch the other person, say something more than just good morning, and say good morning to 3 new people. Go! Yes, exactly. Very good. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Very good. Have a seat. Have a seat. Well done. You know what? You did a really good job on that. So give the people next to you a high five. You rock. Yes. Again, very important. If you feel like, oh my God, this level 5 good morning, it's too much, I hate it, then I perfectly understand, okay? You don't have to go around doing that every morning, but we're all different, right? I'm sure some of your coworkers would probably love to get a hug every morning. And some of your coworkers would probably stay home if they knew they were getting a hug. But maybe I don't know, maybe you do this already, but maybe if you don't, maybe this could be a way to create better relationships in the workplace. And the cool thing about doing it by saying good morning is that you create them in the morning. And then they last throughout the day, and I think that actually works pretty well. So it's a simple little hack that you can introduce in your team. Maybe when you get together, maybe you can use that if you have a stand-up meeting in the morning, maybe that's a good time to do the level 5 good morning or whatever you want. But actually saying good morning is a very simple way to create these relationships. So, as I said, there are two main things, according to the research, two main things that make us happy at work. And let's see if you've been paying attention. The first thing that makes us happy at work is? I can't hear you. The first thing is? Second thing is? Yes. Results and relationships. This is where we need to focus. If you want to be happy at work, enjoy what you do, like your job, this is where you need to focus. If we want to create happy workplaces, this is where we need to focus. Results and relationships, or to put it a different way, doing great work together with great people. Imagine coming home from a work day where you have this, oh my God, I got so much work done today. I was on fire, I got a lot of stuff done, I solved this really complicated problem, I found this really difficult bug, I got so much done today, and man, we had such a great time in the office today. Everybody was smiling and laughing, and over lunch break, we were just laughing for half an hour. It was amazing. Those are the good days. That's when you come home happy. That's when you come home with more energy than when you left for work this morning. And that's when you come home and you actually want to go back to work the next day. Imagine the opposite. A day with no results and no relationships. Oh my God, I got nothing done today. I'm actually more behind now than I was yesterday. And everybody was in a really bad mood. Everybody was complaining, everybody was annoyed and irritable, and I had a really bad time. That's when you come home and you're really tired, and you don't feel like coming back the next day. So this is where we need to focus, doing great work together with great people. As I said, everybody's different. And this is really important to know because some people are results-oriented, okay? They are really happy when they can do good work, when they can make a difference, when they can use their knowledge, when they can be the expert in their field, when they can kick ass. And other people think, you know what, that's fine. Of course I want to be good at my job. But they are especially happy when they have good relationships, when they feel valued as people, when they feel like I belong in the workplace. So some people are results-oriented, and some people are relationship-oriented. It's just really important to know yourself and know the people you work with. And you can ask yourself, just for a second, what are you? Are you mostly results-oriented? What really matters to you and makes you happy is creating great code? Or are you mostly relationship-oriented? What really matters to you is feeling valued as a person in the workplace? Or are you somewhere in the middle? I'd like to know where you guys are. How many of you what's your first idea? How many of you would say, I am results-oriented? I really want to do good work, kick ass. Take a look around. That looks like around 15%. Thank you. How many of you would say, I am mostly relationship-oriented? What really matters to me is being valued as a person. A few more, maybe 20%, yeah? And raise your hand if you are somewhere in the middle, maybe. Both matters. Yeah. And how many of you never raise your hand in public? We're all different. Now, I know that in IT, there is this myth. There's this myth that IT people don't care about relationships, right? They only care about the code, and I think that's completely wrong. People in IT do tend to be more results-oriented, absolutely. But to say that people in IT don't care about results, to say they don't care about being valued as human beings is completely wrong. Of course we do. But some of us just value results even more. I myself am a results-oriented person. Of course I want to like the people I work with. But what really makes me tick, what really drives me and makes me happy is making a difference. When I can do a speech or a workshop for a client and I can see that they like it and they get it, and I can see that it helps them, that is what really drives me. That's what makes me happy. So just really important to know yourself and just to know that everybody needs both. Everybody needs both results and relationships. What about the salary? Doesn't the money matter? Yes, the money does matter. And I want to show you why with this video. Now, this video has no sound, but this is from the coolest piece of research I've seen in ages. This is so awesome. And what you have in this experiment is you have two capuchin monkeys. They did this in the US under the leadership of a Dutch professor called Frans de Waal. And they took these capuchin monkeys and they taught them how to trade. It works so that you have two monkeys next to each other, and you have this, you give one monkey this polished stone that works kind of like money, and the monkey can use this stone to buy fruit, okay? So you give the monkey the stone, it gives it back, and then it can get a piece of fruit. They learn this really quickly. By the way, they only use female monkeys because they are more intelligent. Don't read too much into that. So they learn that really quickly, and they can, when they hand over the stone, they can get either a piece of cucumber or a grape. And the researchers say that you can do this experiment 25 times in a row with cucumber, okay? So we give one monkey the stone, gives it back, gets a piece of cucumber, eats it. You give the other monkey the stone, gives it back, cucumber eats it, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, 25 times. When they're not hungry, when they're full and they're not hungry, they don't want to work anymore, okay? Because cucumbers are fine. There's nothing wrong with cucumber. But they like grapes better because grapes are sweet. So here they changed the experiment a little bit. And you can see monkey number one, she hands over the stone. She gets a piece of cucumber and she eats it. No problems. Everything is fine. Monkey number two hands over the stone. And now monkey number two gets a grape. Oh my God. Number one is all excited. She hands over the stone. She gets another piece of cucumber. Monkey number two notices nothing, okay? I get grapes, everything is fine. Now look at this, now she knocks the stone into the wall. Maybe the stone is wrong, right? And look at her, she's given up already. You know what? Forget it. Is that not the most awesome thing ever? That is so cool. So what does that tell us? Well, here's what the researchers say. This indicates that we have a need and desire for fairness and justice that is so deeply ingrained in us that it's genetic, it's biological, and we share it with some of our cousins among the monkeys and apes. They did the same experiment on chimpanzees and got the exact same result. We want to be treated fairly, and we hate it. As long as everybody gets cucumbers, it's fine, but if she gets grapes, then I want grapes too, okay? In fact, is anybody here a little bit offended for that monkey? Is anybody thinking, she should get a grape too now? We want to be treated fairly, and we also want to see others treated fairly. And if we're treated unfairly, we become really unhappy. And that is why things like salaries, titles, bonuses, pensions, perks, physical work environment, all of those things, they do matter. Because if they're unfair, they can make us really unhappy, okay? Why am I being paid less than that guy? I've been here longer than him. I'm actually better at my job. This is not fair. And that feeling of unfairness can absolutely make us unhappy at work. And that is why, of course, you should obviously get a salary you deserve. You should get a salary that is fair compared to the market, compared to what your coworkers are getting, compared to your education and the value of the work you do. Of course. But once your salary is fair, you do not become happier at work by increasing your salary. So a salary that is too low can make you unhappy. A salary that is very, very high cannot make you happy. Is anybody thinking, yeah, but I'll take it anyway? So this is just important to know. Why should we care about happiness at work? A lot of people think, why should I should just have a job. I just work to make a living. Why should I care if I'm happy? Well, you should care for a number of reasons. We've studied, again, looked at the research. And it turns out that being happy at work is really, really good for you for a number of reasons. These are the most, we still have power over there. These are the 3 most important reasons why it's important to be happy at work. First of all, time. Have you ever thought about what you spend your time on over an entire lifetime? From you're born until you die, from cradle to grave. They've studied that. They've done these time studies. And it turns out that the number 1 thing we spend time on over our entire lifetimes is sleep, and number 2 is work. Number 1 is sleep, number 2 is work. Does anybody know what number 3 is?
Commuting.
It's computer?
Commuting.
Commuting? No, not yet, but commuting is rising. Number 3 is television. How scary is that, right? Yeah. I did a speech at Lego 3 months ago, and I asked them, does anybody know what number 3 is? And there was a man who said, sex. So I had to tell him no. And then I also said, but please come up after the speech and give me some tips. So the number 1 thing we spend time on over an entire lifetime is sleep. Number 2 is work. It's where we spend most of our waking hours. You will spend more time at work than on anything else in your life except sleep. And I believe that if you spend that much of your life on something that makes you miserable, then you're wasting your time and you're wasting your life. And you should go find work you actually enjoy. Also, because how you feel at work affects your health. Now, when I look at the research, I don't think you can say that being happy at work makes you healthier. But what we can say for sure is that being unhappy at work makes you unhealthier. And studies show that if you hate your job, you have a much higher risk of becoming sick. And we're not just talking like flus or colds. Where studies show that people who hate their jobs have a much higher risk of cancer, some forms of cancer, including bowel cancer. They have a much higher risk of heart disease, much higher risk of stress and depression, and a much higher risk of type 2 diabetes, just to mention a few. So hating your job can make you sick. It can even kill you in the end. And finally, life. Everybody wants to be happy in life, right? Everybody wants to lead a good life and enjoy yourself. But what is it that makes us happy in life? That's a really good question, and they've studied that in the last 20 years. The field is called positive psychology. Absolutely fascinating. Traditional psychology looks at everything that can go wrong in our minds. So, psychoses, neurosis, depressions, phobias. What is it? How can they be cured? Incredibly important. But positive psychology asks the opposite question. When are we happy? When do we feel good? When do we enjoy our lives? And they found 3 major factors that make us happy in life. I'm going to give you those 3. I am, in fact, going to give you the secret to a happy life. Number 1 thing that makes us happy in life is a good romantic relationship. Good romantic relationship. A good relationship with your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse is the number 1 thing that makes us happy in life. And in the Western countries, they haven't done this study in the rest of the world, but in the Western countries, they found how important it is. Because men in Western countries who live in a good romantic relationship live 6.5 years longer than men who don't. Ladies only get 2.5 years. I'm sorry. I gave a speech at a Danish workplace, and I told them this. Men who live in a good romantic relationship live 6.5 years longer. And then I hear a woman somewhere over there saying, oh no. I have no idea what that was about. So the number 1 thing that makes us happy in life is a good romantic relationship. Number 2, friends. A handful of close friends. Good friends who love you for who you are. Friends you really love and you're really close to. The second most important thing that makes us happy in life. And the third most important thing, according to these studies, is a good and meaningful job. A good and meaningful job. And I think that's really important to know because it shows that work is incredibly important to us. But it also shows that there are more important things in life than work. there are more important things than work, and they are love and friendship. And we should never forget that. And we should never sacrifice love and friendship for work. If anybody wants to look into some of our research, I'm going to give you, at the end of the presentation, I'm going to give you a link to where you can download all these slides. If anybody wants to look into some of our research, these are some of the places we get it. So being happy at work makes you happier and healthier in life. Absolutely. But it also makes you better at work. This is a list of the studies we have found so far that show what happiness does to us. So for instance, we know that when you're happy at work, you are more productive. You get more work done in the same amount of time. When you're happy at work, you're more creative. You have more and better ideas when you have a good day than when you have a bad day. You're more helpful towards others. You give better customer service, and so on and so on and so on. For instance, happy people are better leaders because they can better empathize with others and they can better prioritize and make decisions when they're happy, okay? And you look at this list and you can ask yourself, as a developer, how would this help you? How would this help you do a better job? Which of these are most important? Is it most important to be productive? Is it most important to be creative? Is it more important to be optimistic or whatever, okay? But just know that studies show that when we're happy, we are better at every single one of these when we have a good day at work than when we have a bad day at work. And some of this research was actually done specifically on developers. There's a link to just one of the studies I found. Happy software developers solve problems better. How brilliant is that, right? So when you are happy at work, you also do better work. And this is kind of interesting. But because here's what a lot of people think. A lot of people think, I will work really hard. That hard work will give me success. And once I become successful, then I will be happy. Okay? But it turns out it's actually the other way around. If you find work that you love, if you have results in relationships and you absolutely love your job, then you will do much better work. The quality of your work will be much higher. And that, in turn, will make you much more likely to achieve success. So I think we need to turn the traditional career perspective upside down and say, instead of chasing success, hoping that success will make us happy, we should chase happiness because happiness will make us more successful. And by the way, just to mention this, happy workplaces make more money. Creating a happy, if there are any bosses here, or you can take this back to your boss, creating a happy workplace is not naive, it's not idealistic, it's not socialist. It's actually the best business decision you can make because happy workplaces make more money. There are a lot of studies on this, and again, I'm going to leave these links in your slides if you want to look them up. But I would much rather show you an example. So here's a 1-minute video from a very happy American workplace called Southwest Airlines. And when you fly on Southwest, it can go like this.
All I need you to do is stomp and clap, and I'm going to do the rest because I've had 5 flights today, and I just cannot do the regular boring announcement again. Otherwise, I'm going to put myself to sleep. So, you guys with me? All right. So give me a stomp, clap, stomp, clap. Come on, stomp, clap, clap. Stay on beat there. There you go. Keep that going. This is Flight 372 on SWA. The flight attendants on board serving you today. Teresa in the middle, David in the back. My name is David and I'm here to tell you that shortly after takeoff, first things first, there's soft drinks and coffee to quench your thirst. But if you want another kind of drink, then just holler. Alcoholic beverages will be $4. If a Monster Energy drink is your plan, that'll be $3 and you get the whole can. We won't take your cash, you gotta pay with plastic. If you have a coupon, then that's fantastic. We know you're ready to get to new places. Open up the bins, put away your suitcases. Carry on items, go under the seat in front of you, so none of you have things by your feet. If you have a seat on the road with the exit, we're going to talk to you, so you might as well expect it. You got to help evacuate in case we need you. If you don't want to, then we're going to reseat you. Before we leave, our advice is put away your electronic devices. Fasten your seatbelt, then put your trays up. Press the button to make the seat back raise up. Sit back, relax, have a good time. It's almost time to go, so I'm done with the rhyme. Thank you for the fact that I wasn't ignored. This is Southwest Airlines. Welcome aboard. Thank you very much for my beat. I appreciate that. You will not get that on United Airlines, I guarantee you.
I flew down here on Sri Lankan Airlines. Didn't see that there either. So Southwest Airlines are kind of cool because this is the only major airline in the world that has had a profit every single year for 40 years. In a really tough industry where their competitors are losing billions, they have made money, had a profit every single year for 40 years. And if you ask them why, they'll say, because we put our employees first. That is the number one reason why we're so profitable, because we put our employees first. The number one strategic priority inside Southwest Airlines is the employees, that they are happy. Because when they're happy, they do a much better job. That makes the customers happy. When the customers are happy, they keep coming back. This is not exactly rocket science. And they make more money, and the stockholders are happy. And this is the sort of their formula for success that they've used for the last 40 years. And you see more and more companies choosing the exact same philosophy, you could say, because happy workplaces make more money. But how do we create happier workplaces? What can we do to become happy at work? I want to give you just a little bit of inspiration and some tips on things you can do to become even happier at work here in Sri Lanka. And there's no doubt about it that it all starts with the leadership. The leaders are not responsible for your happiness at work, okay? But leaders can absolutely make everybody around them miserable or unhappy if they're bad leaders. So good leaders who can create results and relationships, and especially leaders who can create good relationships. Managers who are good at understanding their employees, who can relate to people who are different than themselves. Those good managers create a lot of happiness. The bad managers create a lot of unhappiness. What do you do if you work for a really bad manager? Somebody who's disrespectful, somebody who's rude, somebody who's really arrogant, somebody who really never recognizes your contribution. If I may recommend just one book. This book is amazing. It came out 4 or 5 years ago. It's one of my absolute favorite business books. And yes, it's called The No Asshole Rule. And in this book, Bob Sutton, who's a professor at Stanford, argues that no workplace should ever hire jerks, rude, arrogant people, because they ruin it for everybody else around them, especially in management positions. Jerks in management positions are incredibly harmful to everybody around you, and no workplace should ever tolerate that. Unfortunately, many workplaces do. There are a lot of bad bosses out there. What do you do if you work for one of these bad bosses? Well, sometimes the only way out is to quit. Okay? Some bosses can learn, they can improve their behavior, they can actually become good bosses if you talk to them and explain what's wrong. But some bosses don't know, or they don't want to know, or they don't care, and they keep on being bad bosses. And if you work for one of those, maybe the best solution is to quit and go find a job where you can be happy, where you can work for a good boss. Maybe somewhere, maybe inside the same organization. Maybe this boss stinks, but this boss over here is really nice. And you could go work there instead. But there's no doubt that working for a bad manager is one of the main things that gives us stress at work and makes us really, really unhappy. And if you've ever tried it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I've tried it myself. It was absolutely horrible. So managers need to be good managers, but there are also many things you can do yourself. This is one of my favorite stories to share. These are 4 nurses from a Danish hospital. I'm from Copenhagen, Denmark. These ladies are from Odense, which is Denmark's third biggest city. And they contacted us about 10 years ago because they had a problem. They had just graduated, so they finished their studies as nurses. They just graduated, and they'd all gotten a job in the same place, namely in this Odense hospital, in the children's ward called H4. This was a ward, a department where they treated children who were sick with infectious diseases. And they were really excited. They were like, our first jobs as nurses, awesome. And they started working at H4, and they found it's a pretty bad workplace. There's a really bad atmosphere. It seems like everybody's mad at everybody else. There's a lot of rumors and gossiping. A lot of people constantly saying bad things about each other. People are always complaining about everything, and nobody wants to help anybody else, which is kind of hard for the 4 new nurses, right? And they told me that they were like, "Is this normal? Is that what it's like to be a nurse in Denmark?" And they said to themselves, no way. We cannot accept this. We are going to change this. So they went to the head nurse, and they asked her for a day off so they could sit and make a plan for what they could do to create a happier department in this hospital. And they got it, and they sat down, they made some plans, they called us, we gave them some good ideas. And then they went to work. And the first thing they did was they arranged a summer party for the whole department, 50 people. They had no budget, they had no money, okay? So they just made a summer party in one of their gardens, a barbecue, some red wine, sausages, burgers, sang some songs, they had a great time. And a party like that creates better relationships, exactly. It sort of creates a better mood. Now everybody knows each other a little better. They did a lot of cool things, but my absolute favorite is this little guy right here. It's a little plush toy elephant on a safety pin. And it's kind of like a medal that you can give to a coworker who's done something really cool. So, okay, the other day when you came off work, you were actually finished working, but you could see that the next shift was really busy. So you stayed for an extra half hour, and that's why we could make things work. You're awesome. Thank you so much. And then that person gets the elephant and can wear it on her uniform for a couple of days and then pass it on to somebody else. Every time they pass on the elephant, they write down the date and who gets it and why. So they have this long, long file of how they help each other, how they back each other up, how they create great results and make a difference for each other. And using simple tools like that, the four newest hires in this department turned it around completely. They told me it took them 4 months to turn it from really bad to really good. And they could feel the difference. Their coworkers could feel it. The head nurse could feel it. The doctors came in and said, oh my God, what's going on? You guys are so happy. You know who could really feel it? The patients. The sick kids and their families. It made a huge difference for them that now the nurses were happy and cheerful and friendly and had more energy. And this story, I think it's great because it shows that everybody can make a difference. Everybody can make a difference. In fact, you can make a difference. In fact, you already make a difference with the things you do and the things you say and how you treat your coworkers, how you act in the workplace. You already make a difference for the people you work with every single day. And it's up to you to decide if that difference is positive or negative. Do you make their day a little better or a little worse? And everybody can help other people be happy at work. What are some ways to create happiness at work? One I really like, random acts of workplace kindness. Maybe you've tried this already. If you want to try this, it's very simple. Do something nice for someone else at work that they don't see coming, that surprises them. And it can be very small things. If you're getting yourself a cup of tea, try bringing a cup of tea for a coworker who didn't ask for it. Here, I got you a cup of tea too. Here you go. Or coffee or whatever that person drinks, okay? You can leave candy on somebody's desk. You can write somebody a nice note to say that you appreciate them or whatever. But these really small things can really make a difference. I want to show an example. This is from a Danish workplace from one of our clients where the two sales managers, they're called Karsten and Karsten. Karsten is a very common name in Denmark. And they wanted to do something nice for their employees. So Monday morning, they're in the reception area when people are coming to work, and they greet every employee like this. Morning, welcome. Let's have a good start to the week. A little plate of breakfast they can take up to their desks. The level 5 good morning. And you know it's surprising when you see him right there. He did not see that coming. Those little random acts of workplace kindness where you do something nice for someone else can make them really happy. You can make somebody's day. You can make somebody's week if you do something like this. Maybe that's something you could try. One incredibly effective and incredibly simple tool is this. Remember 3 good things every day. If you want to try it, here's what you do. At the end of the working day, just before you go home, make a list of 3 good things that happened at work that day. Big things or small things, doesn't matter. Just 3 things that genuinely made you a little happier that day. Let's see, we had a great meeting in my team. We got a lot done. The sun's been shining all day. That was really nice. And I had a great lunch with 2 of my coworkers. That was so much fun. Just 3 things that genuinely made you happier that day. Try that for 2 weeks and see if it works. And they actually tested this. And it turns out that if you do this every day for 2 weeks, then you are measurably happier for 3 months after, because it trains your mind to focus more on the positive. I'm not saying we should focus only on the positive. We should also solve our problems, but this helps us focus on the good things, and we can go home sort of thinking about the good experiences from that day. Another tip I want to give you is to avoid permanent overwork. I know there's a lot of overwork in software development. You have that deadline, you want to work really hard, you want to achieve it. But the problem is that if you have permanent overwork, you get less work done. You get less work done when you have permanent overwork. This is the result from a study they did on software developers. And you can see here, if you have a developer who works 40 hours a week, then that person has a steady output. They get about the same amount of work done every single week. Then you move that person to a 60-hour work week. And for the first few weeks, that person does get more work done. But after 4 weeks, they're down to the same amount of work. And after 4 weeks, they actually get less work done than they previously did in 60. So permanent overwork makes us unhappy at work. It makes us stressed. It means we have less time for our friends and families and hobbies. But it also means we get less work done. So avoid it. You can do overwork for a couple of weeks, sure, but never permanent overwork. And the final tip I want to give you is to celebrate the things that go well in the workplace. I think it's fairly typical, isn't it, that when we have a project review or a retrospective, we tend to talk a lot about the problems, everything that's going wrong in this project. And I think that's a mistake. I think we need to celebrate the things that go well. I just want to show you a really quick example here. I hope the sound works.
Roll, please. Today's winner, today's kid reporter is Deirdre Shores. It's you, Deidre, it's you.
It's you, Deirdre.
It's you.
You're
You
the
won.
winner. You're today's Kid Show Kid Reporter winner. You're the winner, Deirdre.
Stop playing with me.
You're the winner.
Stop playing with me.
You're the winner.
Stop playing.
You're the winner, Deirdre Shores. You just broke my eardrums. Are you okay? Take a deep breath. Deep breath. Deep breath. There you go. Wow. How do you feel about this?
I want to cry. I am so happy right now.
I think so.
This is the best. Wait a minute. Can you say it one more time?
Deirdre Shores, you are today's Kid Reporter.
Did you hear that? Did you hear it?
Now, I don't think you should do that in the workplace, okay? But I think that celebrating our successes, celebrating when things go well, is incredibly important. And many times when a project is over, we look only at the things that went wrong, the things that went badly, and we miss out on huge learning opportunities because we never talk about the things that went well. So celebrating success, celebrating good work, celebrating a good effort is incredibly important and gives us both results and relationships. Maybe go up to a coworker and say, hey, can you tell me about something cool you've done at work recently? We celebrate that together. Yeah. I'm pretty much done here. Let me just recap. I think my 3 most important points from this presentation is, first of all, that happiness at work is incredibly important. And not a lot of people have realized this yet. Most people still think, well, as long as I have a job, everything is fine. I don't think so. It's not enough to just have a job. We should have work we enjoy, where we come home from work most days thinking, you know what, today was a good day. The 2 main things that make us happy at work, the first one was? No, can't hear. The first one was? Second one was? Yes, that's where we need to focus, results and relationships. Think about your work life. What do you have? Do you have this feeling that you're awesome at what you do? Are you recognized for the work you do? Do you get praise and appreciation? And do you feel like you belong in the workplace as a human being? Do you feel liked and cared for at work? If not, there's something to change. And finally, Happiness at work is something we do, okay? You don't get it automatically. It doesn't come on its own. It's something that we need to create consciously in our workplaces. Just before I end it here, I have uploaded all of my slides and videos that you've seen here today to the link up there, woohooinc.com/tips/devday. So if you want to go there, I'll also tweet this out later with the DevDay hashtag. And you can go there and you can download my slides. You can give me feedback on the speech. And if you want to subscribe to our newsletter, you can find that over there. And you can stay in touch and learn more about happiness at work. So I just want to say that you guys have been absolutely awesome. And I hope you got some tips that you can use to create even more happiness at work here in Sri Lanka. Thank you. Do we have time for any questions, or probably not? I'm a little over already.
What's your take on there's basically the three factors: autonomy, sense of purpose, Daniel Pink?
Yeah, Dan Pink's Drive. If you want to read an awesome book on motivation, there's the book called Drive by Dan Pink. And he says that the three main factors that motivate us are not salary or rewards or bonuses. He calls it autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Autonomy is when you have freedom to do your work your way. Mastery is when you're good at it. And purpose is when you can see why you're doing it and your work is meaningful. And if you look at it, we actually say those three, that's results. And then what's missing from Dan Pink's theory is the relationships. So there's another motivational theory called self-determination theory. And they actually have three things as well. They're missing purpose, but they have relationships. So I think if you sort of mash those two theories together, then you have results and relationships. But I think that is missing from his research. If you haven't seen Dan Pink's TED Talk where he talks about this, find it on YouTube, Dan Pink, like the color, TED Talk, where he talks about motivation and this belief that what really motivates people is rewards. And it actually turns out that when people are doing creative work, if you give them rewards for doing it faster, they do it slower. Rewards actually have the opposite effect. People become less creative. Great question. Other questions, comments? God, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, I hope you all are happy now after listening to Alex, probably except for my face. But I have some dues to do. So first of all, I would like to thank all of you participants who were there from the morning, and I hope you learn something about the happiness and all of these technical sessions. So thank you very much again. So then I need to thank our sponsors who made this event a possibility, ExileSoft and SingleView, who are our platinum sponsors who came on board very early. And Brandix i3, our key sponsor, as well as our sponsors, Duo Software, Tata Communication, Double IT, Good Agile, as well as our event partners, YesFM and Legend FM, the Mobitel providing the broadband, Sri Lankan Airlines, and Camera.lk. And I also need to thank especially for Lanka Business Online, who was very generous to provide us coverage on their website. So then I would like to thank our speakers, Venkat, just for flying from Denver for this, and Alex. You're just awesome.
Thank you.
And Naresh and Neil also coming down for the conference, as well as other speakers, Samudra, Sanjeeva, Asanka, and all of the people who shared their knowledge. And I need to especially thank some of you who worked really hard to make this day possible, and some of those people went sleepless yesterday night just to make this a possibility. So there were a lot of people who put their effort, and we started about 6 months back organizing this conference. So we are seeing results at this point of time, but it was a huge and team effort which ran over more than 6 months. So again, thank you very much. So we talk about happiness. So I need a small feedback. how happy are you with the conference? Just raise who are happy. Can I take a picture for our album? Thank you. So it seems most of you are happy. So just a notice that we'll be putting our slides and all these videos that has been recording pretty soon in the DevDay website. So I think that's all. So okay, we had a fun icebreaker. So there's a winner, Shashindra from IFS. Are you there, Shashindra? Yes. Please come forward. Yes, please, that's yours. And I'm sorry. Sorry about it. Johan, can you come and present the phone? So he went sleepless yesterday and made sure that I also didn't sleep. And we had winners from networking session. So first, we had 2 winners. For that, the gift was sponsored by Brandix. So can I have Gaurika Vijayaratna, Senior Manager Development at Brandix i3? So thank you very much, Gaurika, for sponsoring the sessions for Brandix i3. So can I have Pushpita Sandaruwan from IFS? Hope I pronounced your name correct. And there's another person called Tharindu Gunawardhan who is winning for the 2nd consecutive year. Thank you, Gauri. So the second networking session, there was again 2 gifts, the same thing, 1 TB hard drives. So can I have Tuan from Vertusa? Alex, if you don't mind, can you come to the stage again? And Gayan Gunaratna. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, so now it goes to the last award, the best tweet. So I don't have a name, whatever written here, but I have the tweet with me. This will test my singing ability, but let me try it out. Water says, drink me, I am fresh. Mentos says, eat me, I am tasty. DevDay says, experience me, I am unique. What would be the last verse? TV says, win me, I am yours, DevDay SL. Can I have the person who wrote that? Yeah, what she said was he selected the best one because she doesn't have a TV. That was selected by Neil, not by me. So thank you, Neil. So again, I would like to thank everybody who put their effort and all the participants, speakers, sponsors who made this event a success. So thank you very much and have a nice evening.